Good morning and welcome to my trading channel. We are looking at the S&P this morning as usual, the only thing I ever trade. And we are seeing that it has been flat now, at least overnight. I'm trying to look at, this is the 1 year, 1 day chart here. We've had a serious uptick since the beginning of November, and it seems to have blown through. The current trading is up here. So we've blown through the highs that we saw last August, July, August, and it's very uptrending. You can see the blue line here, the blue line here. These are all the 180-day SMAs that I'm using here. They're all uptrending. So we've definitely got an uptrend going on here. I'm just waiting for a good opportunity to get in, and actually I have an order placed right here, which I think is just about to get executed. And it did. All right, so I've got my automatic limit and stop orders put in, trying to be cautious and good trading. You can see the MACD now is looking very positive, uptick. It really is here again. It is now downturning a little bit, but just enough to hit that 50 SMA here, this gold SMA. I'm pretty sure it's going to go up. And here we go. I brought up my stop, and the MACD is kind of peaked out and starting to tip over a little bit. You can see the dark green line develop. So I brought up my stop and got stopped out at 175 on the first trade, which is a great trade. I did that very well. That's the way it should be done. Managing my risks and waiting for the good times to get in. All right, so I'm still waiting at this point. It's kind of flattened out. It's actually broken the low over here. You can see on this chart here, I'm slightly concerned because sometimes when you see this, it's ready for a downturn, like you see here. You know, it goes down and then it hits that support and then it comes back up. I really don't want to ride it down to here. I don't really want to do a short because it's uptrending, because that would be trading against the trend. And I'm slightly concerned that if I get in a long, it will drop. But so far, so good. It is holding up on the very short-term chart. So I went ahead and did another long here. Got my trigger orders already in place. And I raised up my stop just below the 50 SMA because I thought, well, if it does drop, I really don't want to be riding it out. So I did lose $100 on that trade. Again, I would say that was a good trade because I managed my risk. And even though it didn't go down very far, so far anyway, it does look like there's a green candle here. You know, I think that was probably a wise move. So here I'm trying to get in another long. I see that we've kind of bottomed out. Sometimes it goes just below the 50 SMA. So that's not a terribly big surprise. We've got a big wick here, and it's probably going to go up some more. We've still got our uptrend. So I did a long order here, got executed. And the MACD is looking very good here. I've got the limit order set, and my mark, my alert is over here at the peak that we see over here, because that would be the next resistance level. So I've got my limit order up there, and it's looking very promising. Drops back down to where I got in again, but I'm not too worried at this point. Going up, and then I got to thinking, well, you know what? I hate to limit my peak. I left my stop order in to protect my losses, but I felt like it might even possibly go up farther than what I was expecting. And here I canceled my my stop order because I was feeling pretty confident in the uptrend and I really didn't want to get stopped out. And I'm glad that I did. Wasn't maybe managing the risk as well as I have in the past, but being as uptrending as it is, I don't think it was a huge big risk either. All right, so now I've got no stop order in, nothing to prevent it from dropping. I don't think it's going to drop though. And I've got my limit order in, one tick above where I had it before. And it's heading up that way, and then it all of a sudden just shot up there, and I got executed on the second order. And actually did go up further by, another 100. But you can see that the MACD is now peaked out and looks like it's going to drop. So now I've made $287.50 minus my commissions. And I've done 3 trades. It's looking good. I'm happy to stop here, but also it's fine to do another trade as well. So I'm just kind of watching, looking at the markets. Notice this is kind of interesting. The S&P, the Goldman Sachs S&P forecast, they just raised it to 5,100 because we've already blown through their last target of 4,700. So that's kind of interesting. And let's look at that again. They said, yeah, okay, so it actually closed last week higher than it did in January. That was the record high in 2022 last year. So that's kind of interesting. Alrighty, so I'm still kind of waiting. I put in a long order here at this support level. I think that's, I really don't want to get in before that point. I feel like even though it looks like it's going up, I do think it's going to drop, and it did. And you can see that I didn't move my order. The line came up as this is dropping. So I left my order in there, and it got filled. And it did drop a little bit further. I don't have a stop order in again, but you can see that it kind of bounced off at that point just below that SMA, and I think that was a pretty good place to get in, honestly. This is the place that I would like to get out. That is the peak way over here where it was on Thursday. That was the highest point that it got. So I feel like that's probably the next resistance level. You can see that it has reached this point here. I think even blown past it. I don't have a line drawn across there, but so that's like the next level up. And it's going up, and it kind of went flat here and started to tip over, and it's having trouble breaking through this point right here, which I thought was kind of interesting. I probably should have just gotten out right here, right now, but I didn't. And it dropped back down again, and it bounced, and I thought, well, I'll just try to get out here. And oh, I didn't catch the last slide, but anyway, I did get filled. I need to go back and grab that. Hang on one second. Okay, so I went back and grabbed my last screenshot, which I forgot to grab, and I also put on where I made every single order. You can see I got in along here, it got out here, got in along here, got stopped out, got in along here, rode a dip here, and got out here. And then I got in here, which was a little bit soon, but that's okay. And then rode a dip. And then I think I got stopped out right here, or a limit, I don't remember, but I wasn't sure how far up it was going to go. As it turns out, just a few minutes after I had gotten out, it did end up going up close to where I had my original limit order. Not even quite though, because it didn't trigger my alert. So I don't think that was a bad trade. I did end up making 4 trades, and my total amount was $459.98 with the commissions taken out. So that was my profit for the day. So I'm very happy with that. I feel like I made good trades. You can kind of see I was riding the momentum, waiting to get in at the bottom, and got out, near the top, not always at the top. This was probably the best I did. So anyway, that's what I did. See you tomorrow.